Hey there folks, it's Glenn with the almost world famous Cactus Atlas, and today we're going to explore the north rim of the Grand Canyon. I'm going to take you on a little driving tour of all the major overlooks, and we'll take a look at the layout of this park. Over on our Camp View channel, you'll get to see me tour all of the little establishments in here, including my favorite, the Rough Rider Saloon, presumably named after Teddy Roosevelt. My kind of guy. We need more of that in our world today. I'm gonna guess the Deli in the Pines is my best bet for coffee. So we're gonna go in there, then I'm gonna take you to the back of this and I'm gonna show you the start of our adventure to whet your appetite for more. All right, they have Starbucks brand, they're brewing it here themselves, but we found coffee and they have different sizes actually too. This is a large, the largest they have, which I've seen larger, but I'll take it. It's hot though. I comment on every time I come here to the North Rim, which I guess is my second time. Well, I guess over the days I've been here many times in this area, of how chill, that's the word I use, the North Rim is compared to the South Rim. It's just so much quieter here, and they just have every little thing you need, but it's not like in your face either, like a nice cup of coffee. So I had to go back in to get a second cup because it's hot. They don't have sleeves, but it's brewed, it tastes really good. It doesn't taste like they clean their stuff. Good job, guys. Let's get into the real fun. We are, well, you see where we are. We're at the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And what we're gonna do, and some of you might already know because you've seen an episode from years ago. So I'm gonna today drive to Cape Royal Road, which is the main road here inside the park. And something to know, like if you're gonna come visit, is it's very spread out. So I wanna say it's like a 45-minute, hour-long drive to get from the start of Cape Royal Road, which we're not quite on yet. We will be in a second. All the way to the very end. Then you have to turn around and come all the way back. So my plan is going to be to make a beeline all the way to the end. Probably not film too much here in the vehicle. It's going to be a lot of pine forest. We'll look at some of it. Then we'll start there, and then we'll make our way back towards the entrance. Because I'm actually leaving here today too. I'm heading to Zion National Park. I purposely chose to say Zion, not Zion. I camped here last night also, and if you want to see I did a little campground tour on foot. You got your campground drive-throughs, and that's all on Camp View, our second YouTube channel that's devoted specifically to camping, and helping you choose campsites and stuff like that. So if you want to see that side of things, hop on over and check it out. And there's the sign for the campground, but we're gonna overshoot that, and then we're looking for Cape Royal Road. Beautiful morning out here though. All right, what do we got here? I think that's actually one of my favorite points, Point Imperial. That's gonna be the end of our tour. I opted to not go there first and do these overlooks in the order that I did them a couple years ago. We're gonna do them in reverse order, mainly because Point Imperial looks east towards the Vermilion Cliffs, something you should be familiar with if you watch our channel. But the sun rises that direction, and I don't think that if I went there too early, that's not good photography. You're just gonna have the sun on your face and nothing's gonna look good. So I figure we head down this way, let the sun come up a bit. Then by the time we get back there, the sun should be pretty high up and we can see things better. Made it to Cape Royal. Actually, that drive went really fast. I was enjoying it. You see little bits and pieces of the Grand Canyon as you drive, but you really have to stop and go to the Overlooks, of which we passed several. So we're gonna hit what I think are some of the best ones, starting here, which might be the best one, I'm not sure. There's something really thrilling here too that I'm gonna show you. If you don't like heights, you might wanna step away for a minute. Okay, so there's a point here we'll kind of survey. A little rusty. I mean, I've been here once to catch a sunset. We actually did a whole video on catching the sunset here. There's our destination. I think that's the first thing we're gonna do. It's like we're at the amusement park at Rope Drop and we're heading to the most thrilling ride. Right there. Oh my God. This is no joke. Oh God. All right, I hate these shots. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I already forget the name of this feature. There'll be a sign. But yeah, I love that hole under there. And when you're standing on that, you kind of have to think about, oh yeah, there's like an empty space down below. I hope this rock structure will hold. But it's a very thin stretch that you can walk out to the end in. I struggle with it a little bit, but we're gonna get it done. Oh my gosh. I'm watching this thing approach, or I'm approaching it. Getting closer and closer now. Oh, there's the name again, Angel's Window. I was gonna say the Devil's Window. Angels, devils, everything out in the West is either the Devil's this or Angel's this. Angel's Landing, the Devil's Playground, and Angel's Window. Let's go do it. And for the people that lack common sense, use caution near the edge. You don't gotta tell me. You don't gotta tell me when you see this. All right, we're getting close now. Oh yeah, I remember how much I love this thing. But yeah, you saw it from the side, so you know how this thing is situated and straight drop. And then somewhere right over here, I think, is that really big gaping opening that we're gonna walk over. But look at the view. You can actually see the Colorado River down there. And then we're looking over at the south rim. Lots to point out to you actually, so let's get situated. So I kind of remember now why this place makes me feel like a little dizzy. It's like you do have thank goodness you have these rails. For my sanity, I think. But they sit low, right? So if I was to be out here like this, it's like I could lean over. See, I have to grab onto this thing. I I don't like that. And look over the edge. Oh my God, see, I get dizzy. I don't like that. Get the tingles in my neck, you know, that feeling. And then I start thinking about it, which I'm doing. All right, so let's study the scene a little bit together, and I'll explain a few things. So we're on the north rim of the Grand Canyon once again. We're looking south now. And all the way on the other side, you can see the south rim. And the canyon stretches around this way. And off in the distance over here, you see the hazy San Francisco peaks of Flagstaff. I've literally been on top of that. One of the peaks, I think it's Agassiz Peak, where you can take the gondola ride up and you can look back this direction and you can actually discern where the north rim sits, because it sits higher, I think a couple thousand feet higher than that side. Even though from here, I feel like we're below it and looking up at the other side. I don't think that's actually the case. All right, so it wouldn't be proper to come here and not go to the edge. Excuse me. Wow. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, we did it. We braved this another year, another day. I'll get a couple more pictures here before we leave, but Angel's Point, I would say this is, you know, not trying to start off with the best, because you can't really choose one best thing, but this is one of the coolest things you can do at the North Rim, in my opinion. If you're just gonna kind of take the touristy route and you want some thrills to go along with your overlooking. I don't think so. Oh my goodness gracious. I think they say things in life that you have to get over your fears, you need to subject yourself to them. And I do this over and over and over, these kind of situations. And I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't get better. I wonder if that's like the area right there where that big hole is. Because the way my brain works is like I'm walking and it's like, I think of these things, you know, let's just not think. I think that's the way we do this, is not think. It's weird, it's not a fear of heights that I have. Fear is not the right word, because I can get out there and do it every time. It's just I guess what happens is I get out there and I start envisioning, and I saw what it looks like from that side, then I just start thinking of my position in space, the reality of it, which is I'm standing on very sturdy rock. But it's just, I get that neck tingle thing, you know, when I'm close to the edge. That's where it starts, really. And it's not, I can get it done, but I just feel uncomfortable, I guess, is the way to put it. But it doesn't mean I won't get out there and get it done, though. Sometimes you gotta give it the old hawk tuah and get the job done. I didn't spit off the edge of that, though. So now let's head over to, I think it's Cape Royal proper, the official point, which, as we confirmed, this is a good sunset place. I don't know how it is for sunrise. Probably not bad either. This is actually for Amy. I don't know if I filmed this on my first trip, but look what I found. I assume this is like currants. Amy loves currants, so she is obsessed with it. And I don't know if these are the variety that humans eat. It says currant berries are food for birds and small mammals. So maybe there's different types. I don't know if these are poisonous, but I guess if you wanted to see what a currant plant looks like, there you go. I don't see any berries on it though. And we're gonna cut back this way. We'll look towards Angel's window again. I'll take you over here and we'll look east where the sun would rise. It's right over here. I remember this shot too. It was like what I was just describing in the civil twilight. I looked back this direction and I think I remember seeing like silhouettes of people up there. A beautiful scene. And this really explains why I like the North Rim better. You have these all have names, by the way, these giant features. And this was kind of a very spur of the moment idea to stop here overnight, so I didn't study up on things. But you know, in the South Rim, you're looking across this way and you can see these things, but they're more in your foreground here, and you get lots of cool shadows and I would say depth. Maybe that's what it is now that I'm analyzing this and thinking about it. It just adds something to the photos. I don't know, if Amy digs back into the Cactus Atlas back catalog and finds some of our South Rim content, plenty of situations in the middle of the day especially where you're over there looking this way and there's no depth depending on the light. You don't see the shadows. It all looks very flat. And you don't have things closer up right here in your field of view on the other side. I think this does something. I'm not a photographer professionally, to be honest, and I'm using cameras, but I don't know the theory, landscape photography, so it's a lot of gut feelings about it, but I think that is really what it is. Cool stuff in the foreground, expansive views in the background, you're up higher looking down on the other side. Really cool. And please know, this is not knocking the South Rim at all. If you've never been to the Grand Canyon, North Rim, South Rim, it doesn't matter. Get your butt out and check it out. Check it out. We're at Cape Royal and I get it all to myself. Try that at the Grand Canyon South Rim. Well, you can. You just have to start early. That's the main key, I would say. Pretty much in any park, but here you don't have to start that early to get peace and quiet. Very nice. I got some education here for you to give some facts, because I was right in my range. My guess of range is at 1,000 to 2,000 feet higher than the South Rim, 1,200 feet higher than the South Rim. But you tell me, when maybe if you're on camera it doesn't look the same, but when I stare across over there, I feel like I'm actually looking up, like that's higher, but it's not. And here's a nice little overview of what's going on. I'm standing out here looking over this whole thing. Colorado River snakes through, South Rim, other side, just like I told you. So here we go. The feature, I guess these things that I was referring to in the foreground are known as temples. And there's two of them and I have the names. So this one is Wotan's throne, this geologic feature right here. And that over here is known as Vishnu's temple. So temples. All right, let's catch one last view. That's been one other thing I love about the North Rim is there's a lot of really beautiful views of the Colorado, which you can get at the South Rim too, but they seem more abundant here. Well, that was Cape Royal and Angel's Window, and some of you might be saying, Glenn, why did you start with the climax? Like maybe the best part? And I think some of you might have a valid argument about that, but what if I don't consider it the best place? And it's hard to compete with that, I know. But as for what I remember, what I really liked was Point Imperial. There's some aspects about it because of the landscape that it faces, something about it that did me right. It just hit right, as the young kids today say. And that hits right too, but Point Imperial just hits different. Is that Walhalla here? I think this is it here, actually. There's nobody here. Yeah. I remember this too. This is a good point, this one. If this is, we'll get the proper name for you. It is Walhalla. There's a sign right there. There's a secret. There's a little Easter egg I'm gonna show you. Every time I come here, everybody parks up here, I think, because they see like this. And there's an opening here. I think that's Vishnu's temple. See, I'm remembering things. That temple, the geological temple, not the interdimensional temple. But down this way is what I recall. And I think they put the signs there because it is a good place to look, but I think there's something over here. Yeah, there it is. So I'm not saying it's a secret, but it's not obvious. There's a trail right here, right in front of the car. that goes out to like a fenced overlook that goes out further on that thing. And every time I'm here, everybody's out there and they have no idea that this is here. Now I'm gonna give you another tip. Don't be me and do this classic blunder. Can anybody guess why I made a classic blunder here? What is the blunder? The blunder is, I call it the Yellowstone effect, the Yellowstone traffic jam effect. Second another tourist sees me parked over here, everybody's gonna come over here. That's how it works. Had I just parked up there, then, you know, then I could probably have this place to myself. But let's put this to the test and see. If anybody shows up, will they trend to over here or up there? So I'm not saying this is a secret, but it's like you have to work for it, I guess, if you want to find it. If you don't know, it'd just be so easy to pass up, but it'd be such a shame. Because, unlike that other view, it's not going to take you out to this point here. Now, if you're the National Park Service or something, there's nothing broken here. I'm not saying to put a sign or make it obvious. I like these little Easter eggs. I like the little surprises sometimes. So I'm good with that. Here we go. You do have a nice interpretive sign here that's going to teach you about the geology of this area. And I bet you, I don't know if that is where we were. I bet you, yeah, I think that is. I think I can actually see somewhere in there, Angel's Window, I'm guessing Point, I want to say, yeah, I can't even know, Cape Royal, right? Point Royal, now I'm losing my, whatever, you know what I mean? We're not far from there, but you could definitely see a different angle here on Vishnu's temple, and you could see the Colorado River well from the other side, but now I remember why I liked Walhalla. I love this view, looking down these little washes flowing into the Colorado, and even though it's a hazy day here, you can see that like kind of bluish green coloration to that river flowing through there. You could see white water. It's amazing. And even though it's hazy, I can pick out the San Francisco peaks in this scene. Can you guys? So you can see my truck slim right there. Most people are gonna be in those somewhere right over there, and there's a break in the trees. So you're gonna get the same view, but we'll go compare in a second. I'm here in the summer, right? I think this is the prime season, you know. I'm going to Zion next. Zion National Park, and I'm there for 4 nights. I'm working, so I'm a glutton for punishment, I know. But like, this is another national park. Here, I would argue in like a prime time season where you'd want to be up here where the weather's fantastic. And it's always been like this for me. I know some people have said it can get bad up here. I believe it, but this is my second time, and it's 100% perfection, absolute perfection. And I got this whole thing to myself. I don't even hear cars driving by out there. And being a human being, I think a quality of humans is we love privacy. You know, we need it. It's why we have private property and why we put fences up, and especially in the West where you got your cinder block walls to partition off your walls. Human beings need their quiet time, right? All of us do. Every single one of us, I believe it. Some of us forget that though. So the North Rim, the Cactus Atlas salutes you, and you get the title of National Park. We mean that in the most positive way possible. But I hate to think it and say it. The reason why all of that is possible is this giant obstruction, this giant scar on the earth, too wide to practically build bridges across, and you can't anyway because it's protected. Thank goodness. Thank you, Teddy Roosevelt, and guys like you for having some foresight into these things. For comparison's sake, I mean, this is a beautiful view too. I mean, you're not gonna go wrong. It's very similar, a little different. I think the point out there though is better. But this is a good selfie spot, nice open views. So that you need to just come see both of them. But like I said, see where Slim is parked. Come and observe for yourself when you come here. And you'll see what I mean. It just gets driven by. I'm taking a trip down memory lane now with these things. The other time, I'll tell some story time. Yeah, the other time I hiked down there, had one friend. This guy does those like really extreme runs. He was doing like those 50-mile runs. I think 100-milers are a thing too. Kind of lost touch with that guy. It's a shame. He would be like, if that's one person I would work with on the Cactus Atlas, he was made for this crap. He would be the new face of it. But anyway, so I had that guy on one side. We decided to camp and hike down there, and the other one was a coworker, this guy that I would just go to happy hour with. He is a cigarette smoker. I was actually, regrettably, I was a cigarette smoker once, and I can't say how much to just avoid that if you can, but you know, but I wasn't on the way down. This guy, I guess he's kind of I hate to use the word, kind of a, you know, he's a coworker, kind of a friend. He's a redneck kind of guy. He's sitting there smoking cigarettes, you know, because hiking down the Grand Canyon's easy. The National Park Service is gonna love this story, because you got rangers on the way down waiting to greet you, asking your intentions, like, are you planning on hiking down? They're gonna try to discourage you. And this guy's sitting there smoking his cigarettes. I'm like, this isn't gonna end well. I'm kind of in the middle of all this, right? You got the extreme marathon athlete guy, this dude smoking cigarettes on the way down. At least I'm not smoking cigarettes. I hydrated enough. So, but you could see like the 3 levels of, you know, whatever. And I know we got to the very bottom, we turn around, and like, I'm sorry if this guy ever sees this video or whatever, I don't keep in touch with him, but you know, and my other friend and I would make fun of this guy later. The very first thing you hear about 100 yards heading up the other way is like, the guy's like in pain. My quads! You know, he was having like severe muscle cramps, and we just started. But I'm gonna give that dude credit. Like, it was not pretty, and I was wondering if there was gonna be an airlift out of there. Rangers encountered the guy. I think his danger was he was hydrated but not eating enough salt and all of that stuff. Woo! But we got it done. We got it done. And that's what it's like to be in your 20s. Fast forward to now, oh my God, no way. Wasn't running the cameras when I just made the turn on to Point Imperial. I think didn't I catch that on the way over there today and said that's where we'll go? Anyway, that's where we're at. So a short little drive out to this eastern facing point. Maybe it's not gonna look that good today, I don't know. But there's features about it that I love, especially being able to see the Vermilion Cliffs. It's just, you get this expansive view. It's just it hits a different. I like that. I like that term. So we made it to what I'm going to consider our last stop on this tour today, but it's a worthy one, so hang with me. Point Imperial, what I'm remembering to be my favorite, the one that spoke to me the most. So this isn't really the view I'm starting here, but I wanted to kind of orient you really quick as to where we came from and what we're about to see. These, of course, were all approximations, but we're out there, I think somewhere far out there. The road winds, and I was telling you, I think it's about a 45 minute drive or something like that to get out to Cape Royal from like the main lodge area. And you can see a bunch of temples out here. We were like out that way, and when we're actually facing south. For those astute that can see in it well, I don't know, it's gonna be small, you can see the San Francisco peaks again, so you know we're looking in a southerly direction. And when we were looking over the canyon, that's really all we can see. This spot is a little different, because now you're starting to get, well, you're getting full-on views here facing east. And when you see kind of like that plain out there like that, like today's hazy, it's not gonna be as good as I was hoping, but it's still gonna be cool. I think that's what I like on this side, is it's like you're looking down from heaven onto that you know, landscape down below, plus the canyon views and everything to boot. So I guess that's my main point, is this is a very eastern facing spot. I would imagine not very good when the sun comes up, because it's going to be right in your face. But for sunsets, maybe it would be spectacular. I don't know, with the sun behind it, I could see that. And I think the Grand Canyon is the last of the grand staircase, right? The Escalante staircase, which I'm going to be venturing in deep. That's really where we're heading on this video. So if you ever hear me huffing and puffing on some of these things and I'm telling you the elevation's getting at me, I think we are kind of in the range where those issues can start for some people, where you feel the difference. And this is one campground where I feel it more than a lot of others, at least for the first day or so. All right, let's walk out here to the main point and we'll peer out east onto the vast, I don't know what the term is for the other side, plains. This is the part that doesn't require much talking, I think. Oh, good, how are you? Oh. Wow. That's a surprise. Middle-aged YouTuber struck by lightning at the north rim of the Grand Canyon at Point Imperial as he YouTubes. What an idiot. Something about this one too, because some of these temples are kind of underneath you, gives me more like depth, and it feels like I'm an eagle flying all above this stuff a little bit more than some of the other places, even though you have looking down 1,000 feet or so probably. It's just this one does me right. I'm in one of them, arguably the most popular spots in the park. Here we are again. It's a Saturday, right? Holy crap, it is Saturday. So I was gonna say it's the middle of the week, maybe that's why it's not busy, but it's a Saturday too. I love this park. In fact, I'm gonna straight up say it. I was very much, and I'm probably gonna eat my words later when I go to Zion later today. I've been dreading this trip, to be honest with you. I'm starting to have it with national parks because of just some bad taste in my mouth that maybe one day I will talk about, but this has really changed my attitude that quickly in one day and restored my faith in people and national parks. All right, that dark cloud's coming right over me. It's probably not wise to be holding a camera and metal equipment here next to metal rails at the edge of a canyon, I would think. So I'm gonna get a couple of quick snapshots before whatever happens here. I don't even know where the heck that came from. It is like, came right out of nowhere. I was always told if you can hear and see, well, if you can see lightning or hear thunder, then you are at risk of getting hit, even if it seems unlikely. If you know the roads of Arizona as well as I'm getting to know them, you'd know that to get here from Phoenix, you can kind of see that ridge out there. Basically have to drive all the way to like Lee's Ferry. You can see the Vermilion Cliffs, very hazy in the background. That's not even the side I think you're on. It kind of winds on the other side, I think, here on the Arizona Strip. But if you've watched our videos, things that are in that area, I hiked up to an old uranium mine up in those cliffs. Even did some kayaking in that area, Lee's Ferry. There's lots to do and see. But that's the reason why it's hard to get here is to get around the Grand Canyon. You come from like Flagstaff all the way this way, and then you gotta go all the way up here and climb all this elevation to boot. All right, folks. I like to peer down at my Vermilion Cliffs, one of my favorite features in Arizona. Fitting spot to end our tour today. I wish we could do more, but I feel like we have to see the best of the best here and give you a couple of tips. And I really do mean it. And I think that this experience this morning, it healed me, it rejuvenated me and restored my faith in national parks and people in general. So I need to muster all of that I can, because after I'm done here with a couple things, guess where I'm going? I'm going to Zion National Park, where I'm camping for 4 days to work, but we'll see if I still have faith in humanity when that's done. Keep watching to see that one. See you next time.